Live, where news comes first. This is ABC-7 with breaking news.
But I want to emphasize that it is our intention to go forward, to seek justice for the victims, for the families, and for all of El Paso.
We begin ABC-7 at 6 with breaking news. District Attorney Bill Hicks speaking just over an hour ago about the Walmart shooting case after federal prosecutors announced they will not seek the death penalty against the accused shooter Patrick Crusius. How he plans to proceed in the state's case. We'll get to that story in a moment, but first.
We begin in the ABC-7 Alert Center with breaking news. The El Paso Police Chief, Greg Allen, has died. We brought this to you as breaking news on ABC-7 at 4, and we have been following it all day. Within the last hour, the El Paso Police Department held a news conference. ABC-7's Brianna Bettis was at the conference and joins us live with what was said. Brianna.
Yes, Stephanie, I am here outside of Sierra Providence East, where a procession just took place. I want to show you just down on Loop 375 going south. We saw several police units just going down there. We also saw a lot of helicopters as well. Back up, you can start seeing it here on Loop 375, all here to gather in honor to honor Chief Allen. Now, just within the last hour, that news conference did wrap up. Several officers telling us that it was a huge loss for them and the department. Chief Allen has led the department for almost 15 years. He joined the city of El Paso in 1978 and was named Chief of Police in March of 2008. Officers say today that spoke about his leadership and the love he had for his department. They say Chief Allen led the department through one of the most tragic days in the borderland on August 3rd. Now, one of the main points that they wanted to remind the community was that officers will continue to protect and serve.
Chief Allen was one of the most outstanding leaders I ever had the pleasure to meet. And like all great leaders, he taught his command staff, the people under him, how to lead as well. So we thought it was important that the city of El Paso and the community hear from men and women in uniform, letting know that everything will be okay.
Police have not said what the cause of death is, but they did say it is unexpected. We'll be sure to keep you updated on air and online at kvi.com as we continue to gather more information. For now, reporting in East El Paso, Brianna Perez, ABC-7.
Brianna, thank you. And joining us live now in this studio with extra perspective on Chief Greg Allen is Mayor Oscar Leeser. Thanks for taking some time. We saw in your news conference just within the last hour or so how emotional you got. It's been a tough, emotional day. Describe it for us.
Well, you know, it was unexpected. And that's where, you know, sometimes you prepare yourself for something like this, but it was unexpected. And I've been talking to him just recently. And it's just somebody that really cared a lot about our community and someone that loved El Paso and the men and women of the police department. And, you know, he was always about, you know, obey the law. And he was about making sure that the men and women were always taken care of, and they were always and I've always said, you know, one thing that I loved about Chief Allen was that there was no gray area, you know, and he called it the way he saw it, and he always he always made sure that if anyone needed him and anyone needed anything, he would always put them always before him. And you know, and then one of the things when we were talking to Roseanne a little while ago, that one of the biggest things he loved was animals, and he had a big heart for animals. So that was really nice. I had the opportunity to go to the hospital and sit there with her and Chief Allen as right after he passed away, and it was a sad moment, but you know, it's a proud moment to have known him as a friend. I knew him before I was in public office.
Did you get a chance to speak to him, or was it just to his wife?
Today just with his wife, but I talked to him quite often, and you know, you didn't know he was sick, you didn't know he was in the hospital. He'd call, and you know, whatever you needed, and we needed some assistance or guidance, he didn't tell you he would. You know, he'd just go ahead and get it done, and never knew. And I know that Estrella, for example, Escobar, the chief of staff, talked to him on Sunday, and he'd been in the hospital already a couple of days, but needed something that was asked of us, so we called him, and he took care of it.
We just saw a moment ago the live picture of the procession that's already happening and just the show of support. What does that tell you about who Chief Allen was?
Well, you know, it's really, you don't need to tell me, or no one needs to, because he did it while he was alive. He was so well respected by everyone. And Joe Sanchez from DPS wrote me the nicest message, and how, you know, he worked with Chief Allen and what it meant to him and the community. You know, and being the safest city in America and always being up there really spoke volume of his leadership. And then one of the questions that was asked, who would take over? And we have a lot of assistant chiefs, and I can tell you that because of his guidance, any of them would be ready and prepared.
And that was one of the things I wanted to ask you too. I mean, obviously, right now is a time of mourning and remembering Chief Allen, but El Paso has always prided itself as a city that is one of the safest cities in the country, if not the safest city in the country. So going forward, you're confident that it can remain that way?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, and that's a sign of a good leader. And we know that he was a good leader. He was a good father. He was a good friend, and a great police chief.
Mayor Leeser, thank you so much for some time and some extra perspective on now the late Chief Greg Allen.
Thank you. And our city is, you know, mourning, and it's a big loss, not only to the police department, but also our community. Thank you.
And that's been evident by everything we've seen and heard so far today. Stephanie, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Eric, thank you. And now to other breaking news. The federal government's decision today to not seek the death penalty in the Walmart shooting case. About an hour ago, the El Paso District Attorney Bill Hicks held a news conference in response to this decision, and he is clear that Texas will continue to seek the death penalty in this case. ABC-7's Liloba Sitziro was at that news conference and has the details. Liloba.
Go.
Stephanie and Eric, good evening to you. Now, DA Hicks, he was very clear. He said that election to file for the death penalty here in the state of Texas is still very much on the record. And he said right now, it's not going anywhere. Now, he did say that the state of Texas will continue to evaluate the impact of the federal government's decision and may make another decision later on. Now, we asked what this means, if it means the state's decision could change. He said they'll evaluate the information as they get it, but for right now, it stands. He said he did want El Pasoans to know that the plan is to go forward to seek justice for the victims and their families. Now, Crucius is accused of killing 23 people and injuring many others in August of 2019. Prosecutors say he opened fire inside the Cielo Vista Walmart. This is video of him at his first court appearance. He has not been seen in public since. Now, as for DA Hicks, we asked him today about a letter allegedly written by State Representative Joe Moody supporting sparing the life of Crucius. Listen to what he said.
I have seen that letter. Representative Moody's letter has no bearing or impact on this office, has no bearing or impact on our decision. We're focused on the victims here in El Paso. We're focused on the citizens of El Paso County and making sure that justice is done here in El Paso for our community.
Now, of course, we're going to continue to follow this story and bring you any developments just as soon as we get them. But for now, we're live outside the DO's office. I'm Liloba Sitziro, ABC-7.
All right, Liloba, thank you.
And now we want to get to storm track weather. Let's get your forecast from ABC-7 storm tracker, Sarah Coria. Sarah.
All right, guys. Well, earlier today we did see some rain. It was patchy on and off throughout the day, but we believe that most of that rain that we're going to see is passing through. It's shifting to the east of us. It did come from our west, but what we're looking at ahead is our tomorrow, and we're anticipating some winds. Here's a look at our Doppler radar. You can see, just as I mentioned, the rain that moved from the west to the east. Currently right now, it's looking pretty clear. Some minor showers, sprinkles here and there, but El Paso, Chaparral, Fabens is pretty much in the clear as far as rains, so it's pretty much dying down for the evening. You can see Del City, Waco, Tinks area. They do have a little bit more chance for rain as more rain is passing through there, but again, these rain chances are slowing down. Now, up in the mountains, though, it's a different story. They're seeing the chance of some snow. That rain that pushed through there, of course, in the chillier areas turned into snow. So up in the Rio Doso, Capitan area, they were experiencing some snow. So again, that rain that we experienced moving from the west to the east, you can see a wider look. It is pretty much gone for the evening. You may get a couple sprinkles here and there, but the rain really isn't going to be much of a factor. Now heading into tomorrow, again, we are looking out for those wind gusts because it will be a windy day ahead. We'll tell you more about that coming up.
All right, Sarah, thank you. From our New Mexico mobile newsroom, one person has been killed in a 3-vehicle crash on I-25 in Las Cruces. According to New Mexico State Police, the crash happened where I-25 and I-10 split. One person was killed and another was airlifted to a hospital here in El Paso. Traffic on I-25 South was diverted at the University exit, while traffic on I-25 North is being diverted to I-10 West. We will update you as soon as we learn more information.
The Texas Department of Public Safety says a human smuggling attempt led to a rollover crash in central El Paso. It happened around 6:30 this morning on the intersection of Reynolds and Duranzo near Gateway East. DPS says 4 drivers were trying to force another driver off a road. One of those cars ended up crashing. Troopers later discovered 9 migrants inside the car. They were all turned over to Border Patrol. The driver was taken to a local hospital and is suffering minor injuries. DPS says the driver will now face human smuggling charges.
The Doña Ana County Sheriff's Facebook page has shut down, at least for now.
Why the sheriff says her office can no longer keep the page up, and what she is asking from county leaders to keep the residents informed.
And we continue with our complete coverage of the death of Police Chief Greg Allen. And in Storm Track weather, Sarah.
We did experience some rain today, but not much. You can see, here's a look at our 24-hour rainfall. We just had 0.04 of an inch in El Paso, 0.09 of an inch in Las Cruces. Those rain chances are already slowing down. We have the possibility of some wind in our forecast tomorrow. We'll tell you about it coming up.
This is ABC-7 at 6.
Where news comes first.
Get complete coverage of breaking news on Good Morning El Paso.
GMC Terrain. Ready for any terrain. Premium and capable. That's professional grade from GMC. Step up to GMC with 3.9% APR and no monthly payments for 90 days on terrain models.
See your El Paso Las Cruces GMC dealers.
The story of a country line dancer who gave her pain the boot. This is Shelley.
Once I start dancing, I forget where I am.
So what was tripping her up?
Foot pain, knee pain, and back pain.
Then she got fitted for Good Feet arch supports.
It was magical. I knew, oh my gosh, this is what I need to stay on the dance floor.
And stay there, Shelley does.
That's my happy place. I'm not going to stop.
Step in for your free fitting at the Good Feet store.
When it comes to cases involving big truck wrecks, we know how to get results for our clients. We know catastrophic injury and wrongful death cases. That's our history. We are Glasheen, Bias, Ninderman, injury lawyers.
ABC-7, the official home of the UTEP Miners.
People like to come up and talk about the weather. We always say weather affects everybody. Whether you're just a mom getting your kids ready to go to school in the morning or you're out there working it. There's always somebody's job that relies on the forecast and on a particular parameter of weather. Weather is important to everybody, and we realize that, and that's the approach we take when we present a weathercast. We spend a lot of time on our Doppler radar because we know people rely on it and it keeps people safe.
Download the KVIA Storm Track Weather and Traffic app, sponsored by Mattress Firm.
Welcome back to ABC 7 at 6. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Eric Elke. And if you're just joining us, we've been following breaking news as Police Chief Greg Allen has died. Allen was El Paso's first African-American police chief. He was 71 years old. He had been chief since March of 2008, but he joined the department in 1978 and rose through the ranks. He also was a martial artist and in 1995 was inducted into the El Paso Boxing and Martial Arts Hall of Fame.
The Doña Ana County Sheriff's Office announced on Sunday they'll be forced to shut down their Facebook page due to a lack of resources. ABC-7's Jason McNabb joins us with our New Mexico mobile newsroom to explain.
The Doña Ana County Sheriff's Department says it has become too difficult to constantly keep the public informed on social media without having a dedicated position to do it. DASO's Facebook page, followed by over 17,000 people, is a place where county residents can go to for information about safety and traffic concerns, but now that may be coming to an end. This post from Sunday says they'll be shutting it down due to the lack of a public information officer in the department, a position that the office hasn't had in years. Sheriff Stewart says she requested one last year, but the request was ultimately denied in the final budget.
We submit, just like all the other departments and offices, we submit requests. We justify them as much as we're able. Ultimately, that is made by county administration, those decisions, and the Board of County Commissioners. Now, I will tell you, the Board of County Commissioners really just sees it at a very end process. So I'm going to give them a little bit of a break and say that maybe they need to be informed further along the path when some of these things are getting denied.
I asked County Commissioner Shannon Reynolds to expand on the Commissioner's role of DASO securing a public information officer.
We at the County Commissioners level, we approve the yearly budget for the departments. We do not actually approve specific position budgets. All of that is handled by Human Resources and the county manager.
I also reached out to the Doña Ana County manager, and in a statement said, the county manager does not take a particular stance about a position within a department. Stewart says at the end of the day, it's still up to the county manager to make the final decision. Sheriff Stewart added that she doesn't believe the Facebook page shutdown will affect public safety or transparency, and added that she herself will continue to, quote, keep answering the hard questions. Reporting in Las Cruces with our New Mexico Mobile Newsroom, I'm Jason McNabb, ABC-7.
All right, Jason. El Paso Water is announcing its plans for a new headquarters building in East Central El Paso. The new building and adjacent parking garage are expected to cost $47 million. It will be constructed at the same location on Hawkins Boulevard where the current headquarters building stands. Work on the project is expected to begin later this month. Completion on the new building is scheduled for the end of 2024, with demolition of the current building set for May 2025.
We have Sarah Correa standing by with a look at our storm track weather forecast. Sarah.
Temperatures were cooler today, and we're expecting them to be cool again tomorrow with some winds. We have a complete look at your main weather coming up after the break.